Early in the morning, 790 Adventure R. This is what it's all about. This is what everyone wants to know about, is this bike. Been waiting so long, it seems like, to get a ride on one. So set up with Continental TKC 80s instead of the Crew 3s that come on at stock, because we are riding in sand dunes. We're actually gonna do some real off-road riding, not just farting around in dirt roads and stuff like that. So let's fire this thing up, see how she sounds. We've got the Kropovich exhaust on it, accessory exhaust, but no rally foot pegs, regular size foot pegs with the rubber bumpers taken out. So, sounds pretty good. It's gonna be cool. So we're gonna get out of here in a minute. And our ride leader is this dude right here, Chris Birch. You may have seen him on the internets shredding. So he's our guy. So quick numbers before we get started today. We've got 95 horsepower, 65 pound-feet of torque. We've got a seat height of 880 millimeters. That's 50 millimeters taller than the low setting on the street model. So quite a bit different seat height, but that comes from longer suspension and a non-adjustable seat. Right now we're rolling in rally mode. So you've got different ride modes. You've got street, you've got rain, off-road, and this rally mode. And what's cool about the rally mode is you can set your throttle response between a street setting, off-road setting, and rally setting. Rally being the most aggressive throttle response, off-road being a little more mellow, and street kind of being in between. And then you've got different levels of slip. So you've got right here on the dash going up and down, 9 being the most reined back slip, so the least amount of slip, all the way down to 1, which is tons of slip. Pretty much lets the tire do what it wants to do, or you turn everything off. So right now we're rolling through town. It's really slick. We're on knobby tires, so we are going with a nice mellow 7 setting, so we don't end up looping out and looking like a fool in front of everybody. So we're gonna head out into the desert. We'll be off-roading most of the day. We've got a little bit of street to get there, and then once that's done, we are in the dirt and the dunes eventually. So they're really playing up the rally heritage of this bike. They've got all the rally guys here and hard enduro guys. We've got Chris Birch as our ride leader. Toby Price is here, Sam Sutherland. Marco Coma is leading one of the groups. So they're really showing that this thing is a serious machine for rally. So we're gonna see if it really lives up to the hype. But seeing some of the photos yesterday of Chris Birch jumping it pretty huge, I would say it's gonna be a highly capable bike. So we've been riding for about 45 minutes off-road now, and I gotta say this thing is awesome. It is like a big dirt bike, and I think the best part about it is that the tank is so low, you can throw the bike around really easy, and you don't have to splay your legs wide open like you do on other adventure bikes with big tanks up front. It feels so much more familiar if you're a dirt bike rider. You can just squeeze the bike easier. It reacts pretty well to G-outs and hard edge bumps. If you sit down, it feels like a dirt bike, but it likes to be ridden standing up, which makes sense considering who designed the bike and who are the test riders. Gets up on top of the sand really nice though. It's nice to have that big skid plate under there in these rocks, and but it does make some noise when the rocks hit it because it's so big and flat. So every once in a while you'll hear some noises when it goes clunk. So we have traction control turned off for the sand dunes, off-road ABS. Probably could go no ABS at this point because it doesn't really matter. Probably second gear would be nice and easy. The light is pretty flat right now on the dune, so it's kind of hard to see, but not too bad. Stay up on these windswept bits and everything is a-okay. Pretty soft there, little hole. The front fork's got this dampening in it that every once in a while you'll hit like one of those big rocks that'll make you go, oh shoot, you know, and you're expecting to hear this big metal clang, and it's almost like this dead feel. It just goes thud, and nothing happens. The bars don't deflect, the bike just stays straight. It's really nice. Woo! The power's really awesome on this thing. It's not like a total rever engine, but you can rev it. But overall, it's real snappy and fun, you know, especially in rally mode. That's my favorite mode for sure. Street mode's a little more mellow, and then off-road is even more mellow to really get you jamming, you know. That was a big one. Scented. You do have to remember though, this bike is an adventure bike. It still weighs 460 pounds with a full tank of gas. So you have to still kind of ride accordingly. I mean, you can push it a lot harder than other bikes, but you still have to, you know, think about what you're doing and not try to ride it like an EXC where, you know, you can just pound through stuff. You still gotta remember, you got a lot of weight moving around, and it can bite you if you're not careful. It's definitely closed the gap between a dual sport and an adventure bike. That's for sure. There's still a pretty big gap, but it's not like you're definitely way closer than you were on a 1090. So we just finished up a full day of riding here on the 790 Adventure R. Yesterday we spent a few hours on the standard, and I gotta say, KTM did a really good job with this bike. The ergonomics are epic for somebody that likes to ride aggressively. The low tank setup that they have just makes it so easy to throw the bike around. The weight distribution is really good, and you have tons of room to move around. So just that right there is a huge step forward. But then you've got, you know, you got this really good 799cc LC8C engine, you know, that just is real willing and fun to ride. It's real torquey, snappy, with all the different throttle responses. It's really fun in rally mode. That's my favorite. And then you got a killer chassis, man. Like, the suspension works really well. It's really balanced, and it lets the bike handle really well. Overall, it's just a really solid overall package, and you can tell the KTM went for a more hardcore type of adventure bike that they used to run, like the 990 and the 950. This bike was aimed at those people, to get them off those bikes and back onto something that they could be feel was hardcore enough. They just didn't feel that the 1190 and 1090 and 1290s were worthy in their eyes of being a real KTM. So I think this one is.